All right, so video number 2. All right, so I've already covered the state of e-commerce. So now video number 2, I'm going to talk to you about getting started in e-commerce. But this isn't how to set up a Shopify store or anything else. It's really just before you even begin to spend money. So you want to get into e-commerce, and you're like, where should I start? So you should start with the thought work first. So the thought work that you need to have in mind is the first question everybody says is say to me is, what should I sell? Well, I always tell people, one, what are you interested in, or what are your hobbies? These types of things, because you're going to have to roll your sleeves up and you're going to have to figure some things out. Especially, I'm specifically talking about people that want to do private label e-commerce. So that's what I do. I do private label e-commerce. Again, if you hadn't seen the first video, I've done about $2.4 million in e-commerce sales, maybe more, about $2.4 million in e-commerce sales. Started in 2013. I was with Blackwater, I was in the Marine Corps, and then made a transition into e-commerce in the year 2013. So I've been doing e-commerce since 2013. So where was I? So specifically private label e-commerce. Drop shipping is a whole nother mindset, whole nother thing. You pretty much just look at what's already selling and what's already trending, and then you just serve that up to the market because you can see that the demand is there. And you do some of those things too with private label, but it's private label e-commerce is a lot more heavy lifting. But once you get it right, once you get it right, it's right. So, So let's jump into specifically private label e-commerce and the mindset that you need to have. One thing is, so the first question people are going to ask is, what do I want to sell? For me, and maybe for you, so I'm just going to give you my story. So my story really was, I was building a water plant in Kenya. So I built a water plant in Kenya from the ground up using my own money. And the woman that I was seeing at the time actually had a hair salon. So while I was there, I was helping her with her business, and I saw people were coming in and they had a lot of hair loss issues. So I started selling products that were focused on hair loss. So I started doing research into that market. And because I was working overseas protecting the embassy at the time, I just took my downtime and I just started reading books and just started doing research. While I was in the Marine Corps, I was actually in petroleum engineering and working in the lab. And so I was somewhat interested in chemistry and all these types of things anyway, chemistry and engineering. I was already interested in that. So this was just something else that I didn't know, but I thought it would be interesting. And plus, I always wanted to do stuff on the internet. So I started doing the research. I saw what was going on inside the market. And then I jumped in, started selling my products on Amazon, and started making, one sale here, one sale there. And then after that, boom, the sales just started going up and up because I started running Facebook ads. So let's back up. So you can look at what's going on around you, or what are some of the problems around you, and maybe there isn't a solution that's like in your face. So now you can get into inventing a product, or you can get into creating a product, or you can get into contacting manufacturers to see if there's something in the marketplace, or maybe there's a widget or something that you've created to help you solve the problem. Like, what are the problems that you're faced with day in, day out, and what are your hobbies? What are some of the things that you love to do? Because if you love to do these things and you spent a lot of money to do these things, like let's just say that you are a hunter, these are pretty much identity type products. If you are a hunter, then maybe there's probably certain clothes that you have, there's certain equipment that you have, there's certain tools that you need to have. All of those three things right there, clothing, equipment, and tools, all of those things that you need, that's a whole business right there in and of itself. So if you are a hunter, if you are a shooter, if you are a fisherman, if you are something that's an identity type thing outside of a job or whatever, or even if that's what you do for your profession and you like it, then I would say create you an e-commerce store around it. Especially if you have received awards and everything in that type of marketplace, then I mean, especially if you have received awards as a fisherman and so on and so forth, then you should create an e-commerce store around that after you do the research. So let's just say you pick something. So fishing, for instance, I really don't know anything about the fishing niche, so that's why I'm going to use it, because I know nothing about it. But I'm going to show you what this process looks like. So let's say fishing. You're a fisherman. You've won awards for deep sea bass fishing or flyway fishing, whatever fishing that you do. So we know that fishing requires hooks, lures. I'm getting to the smaller stuff. Fishing rods, reels. I just said I knew nothing about fishing. Reels. That's just the basic. Then you got what is it? What is that piece of equipment that, like some sort of sonar equipment that basically tells you what type of fish are like underneath the water? You have that device, right? So you have all of these different devices, and then whatever the gear is that you actually wear when you're out there fishing. So we have the fishing hats, and you may have shades and all these types of different things. So you got the clothing, and then you have all of the tools. So all those products in and of itself, because you are this guy who's won awards, not only can you provide great content, not only can you provide funny stories, but you can also tell me, somebody that's a novice, somebody that doesn't know anything, somebody that doesn't go fishing, you can tell me what are the best products, and guess what? The best products are in your store. So that's identity. If you was a hunter, it would basically be the same thing. Whatever these identities are, you can even say, if you're a police officer, then maybe you're probably like more so into like the survival, police and security, military. We're probably more so in like that survival niche. So maybe you go into knife, maybe you start, becoming a guy that sells knives or something like that. If you're a stay-at-home mom, like what are some of the things that you're constantly using in the home that could be better, or that is crap, or this doesn't work because of this, that, and the third, like whatever it is. If you are a new mom, what are some of the things that that you needed? Look at all of the things that you had to buy. You just spent $1,500 or $2,000 or $5,000 on this, and this. That is what you want to get into, because you understand that struggle. You understand how painful it is. So question number one is, what should I sell? Look within, look around you. Who are you? Which one of these identities are you? What are the problems that you're facing day in, day out? And then you can start asking other women, especially if you're already in Facebook groups surrounded by women that are dealing with the same issues, and those are good indicators. So question number one is, what should I sell? And I'm telling you to look at who you are. Are you an identity? What type of work do you do, and what type of problems are around you, and how can you solve them? And have you already spent money solving these problems? Are you a part of groups and associations filled with people that are looking for answers to these problems? So that right there would be your niche. So the next question would be, well, how do I, we're down to a minute, 30 seconds. So the next question would be, well, how do I find the product? So now that you know what you want to sell, how do you find this product so that you can private label it? So how can you go out and buy, I'm back on the fishing niche. So how can you buy a fishing rod? It's like some sort of top of the line fishing rod. And then how do you put your own name on it? A lot of people think that this isn't even possible. I was speaking at an event, and I told the lady that she could create her own toothpaste company. She just needed to put her own name on it. And she was like, that's no way I could do that. She thought it was like some sort of fraud or something crazy. But all thing you have to do is go to Google, type in private label fishing rods, private label toothpaste, private label pacifiers, private label strollers, private label whatever. And you'll see that the manufacturers will pop up, and just type in manufacturers in the United States, and pick up the phone, do some research, call these people and say, hey, I'm a mom, or I'm a fisherman, or I'm a security guy, I'm a survival specialist, whatever the thing is, and I want to put my name on these products, because you're going to see on the website, they're going to say, if you want to put your brand or your name or your company or whatever here, then you can just do that there. So I'm down to 10 seconds. And so that is, what do I What is it that I'm going to sell? What do I sell? And how do I find the products? I just answered those questions, and we'll jump into some more questions later. All right, peace.